Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Victoria, and if you're new here, I'm a Christian entrepreneur that makes lots of informational videos about business, lifestyle, and faith. In today's video, I am so excited because I'm even in a new spot. I had to sit in my thinking chair because I am just thinking about everything that God has blessed me with this year, and especially in this past day, and I just needed to share it with you guys. So today we're going to be doing a faith talk, and honestly it's one of the many testimonials that I can share with you guys, and I honestly just want to share with you guys to show you how great God is and how much He can do in your life when you just honor Him and put Him first. So I'm so excited to share with you guys what God has done for me and what I know He can do for you guys. So basically, I guess this kind of starts out in July. In July, I decided, you know, we're in the pandemic and everything has just been so crazy, and the year didn't go how I planned it to go. So I just decided in July, I said, I'm going to start my year over, and I'm going to make a vision board and a goals list of everything that I'm going to accomplish in this year. And my new year started July 15th at 9:55 p.m. 2020. So that's when my new year started, and I will actually be doing a whole video about that and really about my vision board that I made and how it's come to fruition so far. So in my vision board, I put one of the things that I wanted to get a new car. And anytime I've heard someone or any pastor or anybody talk about faith and asking for God and believing for God for things, they say to be specific. So I was just like, okay, I want a new car. I want to buy it in full. I want it to be paid off. I want it to be at least 2010. I want a backup camera. I want to have tinted windows, everything. So that was one of the goals that I wrote down on my vision board. This is in July. So I've been saving up money to buy this car, and I said I want to buy this car by Christmas. I want it to be a Christmas present. So I've been looking at cars and looking at cars. Now, side story, one of the pastors that I watch online, the sermons, I think I've talked about him, Pastor Michael Todd. He is the lead pastor at Transformation Church in Oklahoma, and I watch his sermon series all the time, and the one that we're in right now is about forgiveness. But to end the series, it talks about having crazy faith. And Crazy Faith is a series that he did earlier this year, but at the end of the year, there's something called a Crazy Faith offering. And basically, you just give any amount that God says for you to give. You ask God how much you should give. You give any amount, and just believing God for things that you want to come true, believing in God for things that you want Him to help you with, whether it be financial, health, family related things. So you just give whatever you can give and just believe in God that He will take care of it. So there's so many things that I am believing in God for, and there's so many things that I would just like His hand on and just be in control of the situation. So after the sermon, not the Crazy Faith sermon, the sermon from the week before, I asked God, I was like, how much do you want me to give to this Crazy Faith offering? I have so much that I've been praying about, and so much that I just want your hand on and everything. Mind you, this had nothing to do with the car or my goals. It was actually more family related matters, things that I wanted for my family and things that I wanted for them. It didn't have anything to do with me. So the sermon before the Crazy Faith sermon, I said, God, how much do you want me to give? I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of scared with the number, and He told me $1,000. And I was like, whew, okay. Mind you, I've been saving up money for a car, so I did have the $1,000, and I just know that I need to put God first. And if He said $1,000, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna give you $1,000 for my offering, to be able to take care of everything and just believe in Him to do more with my money than I could do with my money. So then a week goes by, and I'm still looking for cars. Went to go get one. We made a deal, and as soon as we left and we were gonna come back the next day, someone bought the car, so it just wasn't meant to be. So when I watched the Crazy Faith sermon, the sermon that you watch right before you give, I asked God again. I was like, okay, so $1,000, right? That's how much you want me to give. And then God was like, no, I actually want you to give $2,000. And I was like, $2,000? In my head, I'm just thinking, I'm like I've been saving up to buy a car. If I give this money, then I won't be able to get the type of car that I want. And I was just thinking of so many different things of why, like, wow, like this is a lot of money, like this is crazy. But that's the whole point. It's crazy faith. And I said, okay, God, I'm going to give it to you, because I know you can do more with my finances than I can do with my finances. And it just talks about in the Bible so much about honoring God first and honoring him with your wealth, and just everything. And I was like, okay, like this is crazy. Like I don't know, man. I'm gonna give it to you. Literally, this is just my thought process of how I was thinking. And so after I did it, I was just like, I didn't tell anybody. I was just like, okay, God, like you're gonna do what you say you do, because I stand firm on your word, and I know that your word is true. And it's actually crazy because literally everything is crazy. It's crazy because when I was praying about my offering before I gave it, I didn't even pray for myself, like at all. Not my goals, not the car or anything. I was praying for my family and just anybody that was put on my heart to pray for, because I wanted blessings for them and I wanted their life to be straight. I'm like, God has blessed me so much. I want like this money and anything like that. I want that to be used towards other people. And at the end, I was like, okay, well, I guess I should pray for myself too. I was like, God, I'm praying for my 9 goals. I'm praying for this car. I want it before Christmas, like everything. So after I gave my offering, then my brother texted me and he was like, hey, there's this car, like, do you want to go see it? And I was like, in my head, I'm like, I don't even know if I can afford these cars anymore, because I just gave, you know, my money. So the next day, it just worked out so perfectly. Like God aligned it so perfectly to work out. Like it was definitely like his divine nature for this to happen. The next day, like I was off from work, my brother was off from work, and he was like, oh, I'm gonna take you, we're gonna see this car. And I was like, okay. So long story short, we drive an hour away. First of all, it was an hour away, and the whole time I'm like, this is crazy. It literally like crazy faith, like this was crazy. I was like, we're driving an hour away to go see a car. The first 3 cars we saw just didn't work out, didn't like. I'm like, this is crazy. So we go, and the guy was super nice. Like we were buying it from a private seller. The guy was super nice. The car had literally every single detail that I wrote on my vision board of what I wanted in the car and more. Like, mind you, a couple of cars I looked at were the same price, but didn't even have half the stuff. Like the car is fully loaded, like everything. And I was like, wow, like everything about it just felt so right. And I was like, okay, so I buy the car, and like this isn't even the best part. So I buy the car and we got it for like a great price. And so like I drive back home, me and my brother driving back home, and then we get to my house, and I'm just like chilling. I'm like, wow, I just bought my car. Like this is great. Like God is so good. Like it's crazy how fast it worked. I've been looking for a car for weeks, couldn't find a good one. Literally went and did my crazy faith offering, and the next day, like I got my car. Like that's crazy. Crazy, right? So then my brother, like he went inside and he was just like looking up the car that I got again, and he goes and he's like, Victoria, he's like, I'm like, what? He's like, you know, the car that you got, the price that you got it for literally is $2,000 under value. And at the time I didn't think anything about it. I was like, wow, like that's good. I go to the bathroom and then I'm like, $2,000, like that's literally the crazy faith offering that I put in, like for Transformation Church Online, like $2,000. I was like, wow, like that is so, like that's just crazy. Like I need another adjective, but I can't even think of like a descriptive word, anything other than like, wow, like that's crazy, like such a great blessing. And so then I'm like, okay, like that's so cool. So the next morning, like I call my mom, and guys, God is so faithful. God is so faithful. So I call my mom and I tell her like the whole story and how everything happened, and it was just like so perfectly aligned. Like the guy worked at night and I worked at night, so his hours where we could come look at the car were just like so small, where it was just like many people couldn't like even come to like see the car. Like it was literally just like only my hours of the day that matched with his hours of the day, to where like it would be perfect to where I could come see the car and buy it. So I'm thinking like, okay, like wow, God, like hey, that crazy faith it just turned out like perfect. Like that worked so fast, cool. And that wasn't even the best part. So this whole time I'm thinking, after I get the car, I'm thinking, I'm like, wow, this is amazing and everything, and this wasn't even what I was praying for. This wasn't even what I gave the money for. Like I'm happy, but it wasn't even like the top things on my list. I was just so incredibly like overjoyed, because I'm like, this is the icing on top of the cake, and the cake hasn't even been made yet. Like this was the last thing I wanted any of this crazy faith like offering to go to. Like this was literally the last thing. If this didn't happen and everything else I, you know, believed in God for it happened, like I would be so ecstatic. And so I'm like, this is literally the icing on the cake, and the cake hasn't even happened. And I was like, wow, like, so I just know everything, like it's just confirmation, everything else that I prayed about is just going to happen, and I can't wait to share that with you guys. So I'm telling my mom about everything, and I just go through the whole story in detail. She's like, wow, like that's so amazing. And then I told her about what my brother said. He's like, I got the car for $2,000 less than it was like valued at. And then she was like, okay. And so we talked on the phone and everything, and then literally we hang up, and like 20 minutes 30 minutes go by, and she calls me and she's like, so you put 2,000, she was basically like, oh, so like it was $2,000 undervalued. And I was like, yeah, like we got it for a great deal. And she's like, you put $2,000 in the crazy faith offering. And I'm like, yeah, like it was crazy. Guys, tell me why my mom is sending me $2,000, the same money that I put in the crazy faith offering, the same price that I got it undervalued. She wants to give that money back to me, and so unplanned. I didn't ask her for anything. She just felt moved to do it. And my mom is a woman of faith, and she just understands like the divinity that God has, and how like great and how faithful he is. And so she really wanted to sow into me and to sow into my life, into my journey in that way. And I just was like, oh my gosh, like just the blessings that God can really give. And it was so fast. And I'm not saying that that happens to everybody, but God can move mountains, and he can heal the lame, and he can heal the sick. So with this, he can do anything. Basically, guys, I'm telling you this because he's just so faithful, and he's just so incredible and so amazing. And I just felt so much love and joy from him, and I just want you guys to experience and feel that same thing that I felt. It just brings me back to a couple different Bible verses. One of them is Proverbs 3, 9, and 10, and it just talks about honoring God first with your wealth and your first fruit. And basically, he will just take care of that, and he will multiply and bring more. So I gave God the money for the offering that he asked for. Not only did he give me a car for $2,000 less, but he also gave me back the money that I gave in the offering, and he's going to be able to help me with the things that I've asked him for my family and different areas of my life. Like it's just like so incredible, just so incredible, all within not even 48 hours. All this happened like not even 48 hours. I'm like, wow, God, like you really snapped. Like you really snapped, because it's just crazy, like literally crazy. And Transformation Church is a wonderful church. Like you guys really need to check out. They have a great YouTube channel. They have all of their sermons on there, and I really love that church, because 2 years ago, I've always been a Christian my whole life, but 2 years ago, I think it was summer 2018, I like found their church, and I watched all of their sermons online. And I really feel like that summer I just really elevated my relationship with God, and just elevated who I was as a Christian and how I wanted to live my life. And I owe so much to God for even finding like Pastor Todd and making him the lead pastor of that church. And it was just so incredible, because with them I've been able to grow so much spiritually, and just so much. So when God told me to give the offering, I was like, whew, I was like, okay, but like, I know how much you can do and I know how much you have done for me, so I'm putting my trust in you and I'm putting my faith in you because you know more than me. Like, God, you can do way more than me. That's how I think. I'm like, God, you got it, because I don't. Like, you do more than me. You can do anything. Like, it's just crazy, just so incredible. And my favorite Bible verse, I even actually have it on my 9 goals and my vision board for the year that started July 15th at 9:55 p.m. when I made these goals up. But I put my favorite Bible verse on there, and that is Ephesians 3:20. And basically the Bible verse is, now unto him who is abundantly able to do more than we can ask or imagine, according to his power that is at work within us, which basically means that no matter what we can even think or imagine, God can do so much more and so much greater. And if we just put our trust in him and just honor him first, like, he's gonna take care of us. We are his kids, we are his children. Whether we're doing the right thing or the wrong thing, like, he's always going to look out for us and he's always going to take care of us, and we just have to really trust in him. And I wanted to share that with you guys because he's done so much in my life, and I'm going to share so many different like testimonies that he's just worked through me and with me. Guys, God has done so much for me, and I want to share that with you guys, and I want you guys to share them with me, because this channel is a safe space to talk about Jesus and to just be like overjoyed about everything that he has done. And I want to just share that to the world, that like, God is real, God is faithful, he is who he says he is, and how he just loves and wants to take care of us, and he just wants to know us more, guys. So yeah, like, I just had to tell you guys, I just had to. And I'm gonna be doing more of his videos because God has really, he's really snapped. Like, he's really turned my life up. Like, he's done so many incredible things that if it weren't for him, they just never would have happened. Like, there's nothing that I've done in my entire life that I could even say that I've done without God, because things that I know I've done without God and things I know where I put God first, incomparable. Like, incomparable. When God has his hand on it, the God who does not lose, the God that created heaven and earth, when he puts his hand on it and when he says something, like, that's it. Like, that's it. So for me, I'm just like, hey, I want you in everything. Like, God, I want you to be in front of my finances, in front of my business, in front of my family, in front of my relationships, in front of my friends, everything. Like, I need you to be driving the boat, God, because you know, you snap. Like, you really know like what it is. And that's just how I think in my head. But honestly, God's my best friend, and he's just been so great to me, and I just know that he has the same love, and he has that same feelings, and he has that same passion to give to you. So I just had to share that with you guys. I just had to, because yeah. So thank you guys for listening today, and thank you guys for just being here with me. And if you're watching this right now, it wasn't by mistake. God wanted you to hear this, and he just wanted to show you how much he does for his children and how much he does for everybody, and he loves you all. So if you needed a sign, this is a sign. Like, really dive into your Bible, like, get closer to God, dive into the word, honor him, have faith in him. Faith is scary, faith is crazy, but God just does so much. So thank you guys for watching. Again, if you haven't checked out Transformation Church, honestly, such an amazing church. They've changed my life so far, and I just want to share like everything that I know and everything that the resources that I use, and they're definitely a resource. So go check them out, guys. And yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. And for now, guys, be blessed and really be your best today. And I just want to say that I love you guys so much. Bye, guys.